This is Demond, and today we have a KNN special about suicide awareness. And that can be a very touchy subject for certain people, so viewer discretion is advised. Welcome, it's your KNN host Demond, and here today is our first KNN special, and it is about suicide awareness. And today with me, we have Ashlyn, a suicide survivor.
Yes.
What do you like doing on the daily?
School, sleep, repeat.
The normal process, yeah. Okay. What made you inspired to tell your story?
I know a lot of kids, especially my age or any age, have been struggling, especially with COVID and keeping up with their work and not being able to see people, and it's like impacted their mental health a lot.
It really could take a toll on people, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did your friends, family, and your twin sister handle the news?
They were obviously very shocked and surprised, because I think I hid it very well, but they were there for me 100% throughout the whole thing.
That's great. You always need people in your corner any time of the day.
Yes.
Was there something drastic that changed to make you feel the way you felt?
Definitely moving schools and houses and having to meet new people, but having to wear a mask at the same time and all of that.
Yeah, I was virtual at the time, so I wouldn't really know.
Yeah.
But how are the people around you helping you improve it?
I mean, my parents have put me in therapy. My friends are really understanding. My twin sister's very understanding.
Which is great.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how the depression affected you on the daily?
Well, it's different for a lot of people, but for me, it was really hard to wake up and just do like anything, like brush my teeth or like take a shower.
Unmotivated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you told your story, did you feel any changes internally?
At first, I was a little scared due to the fact that I didn't know what people are gonna think or like say, because what happened was pretty like drastic a little bit. So, but I mean, I felt better overall.
That's great. That's good. And what have you learned during this process that can give someone else hope?
I've learned that it's just better to talk to people. Don't hold it in.
Don't bottle it up?
Yes.
That's great. And we're back with Ashlyn and her mom, Tam. How was the experience for you overall?
If I could just describe it with one word, I would say scary. Not knowing how to help your child when they're hurting, and just trying to get through day-to-day life, knowing, that she was hurting so much, and there's nothing I could do but just be there for her. And I know, like, a lot of parents try to say things like, when you get older, none of this will matter. None of the high school stuff will matter. But in reality, that's what they're dealing with right now. So you have to just listen, and because, it's happening to them right now. So you can't just say, in the future, because, they don't, and they're not gonna believe you, so.
Thank you. What actions or precautions did you take when you found out?
So, she was never left at the house by herself, and so she went to Vanderbilt inpatient program twice. Then she did the partial patient program the first time, and then after the third attempt, she went to residential in Illinois, which she did not enjoy, mostly because of, once again, COVID. And so yeah, it was just a lot of, things working with her therapist, medication, treatment, all that. So, and like I said, she was never left alone. She wasn't allowed to lock her, but she's still not allowed to lock her door. I'm still a little paranoid. Can't help it.
I can understand that. What have you and your husband, her sister, and her best friend done to help her that you know of?
So many things. You know, teenagers, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds don't really want to like tell their parents the most, you know, intimate things about them. Pretty much the core of why they're hurting so much. Jalen and Cameron were there for her. And I mean, they've just been there for her, despite, you know, Ashlyn, when she was sad and she would avoid people and didn't want to be around people, they really didn't listen to her. Just like her and her dad, we didn't listen to her either. And we made sure that she was okay. So that was the biggest thing.
How did it affect your mother-daughter relationship?
I think it has brought us closer. When all of this was happening, I was so used to all of my other children being very vocal about what was bothering them. And Ashlyn was never that child. And so I just always assumed she was fine. You know, I would talk to her, ask her all the questions, you know. When I saw her starting to decline, I think I panicked. And I started I was starting to annoy myself by how I was talking to her. So I was like, do you want to do schoolwork today? Do you want to get up? You want to go shopping? Do you want to go, you know? And she's like, no, I don't want to do any of that. And I'm like, okay. And then I'd walk, you know, I mean, but we've really turned a corner. And now we're a lot closer. And I know what to look for now.
That's great. And on that note, we have another guest, Miss Jalen, her best friend.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. So, when you found out, how did it affect you?
I was eating dinner with my parents when Ashlyn's mom called me and told me everything. And it was a real shock because I didn't know she was that sad. Like, I knew things were off.
What did you do to help her during her time of crisis?
Well, whenever I had free time, I would go over there and I'd try to get her out of the house and like get out and do something, even if it was just like going to get food or like just going for a drive, just to get her like out of bed and moving.
How has it strengthened y'all's relationship as best friends?
I think we're like a lot closer. Like we come to each other about everything. And we always hang out and we're always there for each other.
That's great. And on our next guest, Miss Cam, or
Hi.
Cameron, how are you?
I'm good. I'm
That's
good.
great. How was your relationship as sisters strengthened during this time?
So, actually, at the time when it first happened, the bond that I thought we had actually broke completely. I had so much anger and resentment towards my sister because, well, she's been my lifelong best friend. And I never thought that she would put me in a position to lose her, because I cannot imagine my life without her. So, but now after a lot of talking and we've both went to therapy, we've actually gotten closer than we've ever been before.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Is it all right if I say how you found out?
Yeah,
Okay.
you did. So I was actually on my way to school with my mom. She likes to drop me off in the morning before she goes to work. And it was just a normal day, the day before I was supposed to take the ACT for the first time. I went to school because I had a history test. We got a call from my dad and he was heavily breathing. And we thought that there was something wrong with him, but he was just said, "It's Ashlyn. It's Ashlyn. You need to come home right now." So my mom immediately dropped her phone onto the ground. She started shaking. She did a big turn all the way down the house. And I mean, I was trying to keep calm because she was freaking out so much. So as soon as we got home, I ran out of the car. I ran upstairs and I saw my sister there after she committed, and it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Can't imagine that. How has it helped you look at your other friends and see and realize if they're hurting or not?
At first, I was thinking, well, there's nothing anybody could do who would be worse than what Ashlyn did. But now I look at my friends and I actually ask them, and I was like, you don't have to tell me if anything's wrong. And I feel like they're more comfortable talking to me now because they know that, they can, because I've personally been through it myself.
Is there anything else you would like to add about anything else, Cindy?
Sure.
How about it?
Ashlyn, I would just like to say that you're my favorite person in the whole wide world, and I love you more than anything. You're my best friend.
Me too, Cam.
You are lovely, Cam. Thank you. And our final guest is her father. How are you doing today,
Doing well.
sir?
How are you?
I'm doing great. So, previously from what we heard from Mom was
Yes.
that she knows what signs to look for. Could you give me what those signs are, if you feel comfortable?
Sure. Well, it's really hard to describe. The signs I saw in my daughter were just lack of motivation, just becoming untalkative, unresponsive. And she's 17, and you kind of figure that's coming from a teenager. They don't want to talk to their parents about anything. So you kind of blow it off to the side, but as the days went on and on and on, you just start to notice this pattern, like, hey, something is wrong with my child. And I didn't want to ignore that, but at the same time, I didn't want to push it. So from my perspective, it was really tough to try to pinpoint it and figure out and fix. I always felt, well, I feel as a parent, you have one job, and that is to protect your child. And that's something I couldn't do at that time. And it haunts me to this day.
As we heard from the twin sister, you were the first to find her.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that experience?
Well, the morning of, let me first just say this before we go on to that. I'm super proud of my daughter. I've seen her at the lowest of lows, and she's making a climb back up, and I'm so proud of you. So, and we keep talking about depression, and we keep talking about one attempt, but she's made several attempts at her life. And if we're going to talk about the one that I found her at, I can do that. So it was a normal morning. We're all getting ready for work. I'm getting ready for work. Her mother's getting ready for work. And her mother would take her and her sister to school. For whatever reason, Ashlyn was in bed. She didn't want to get up. And so her mother said, I can't be late, I gotta go. Ashlyn's in bed. And she had done this several times leading up to this. Excuse me. So I'm getting ready for work, and I'm getting ready to go out the door. I'm calling for him. I'm like, hey, Ashlyn, let's go. We gotta go. We gotta go. And I get a call on my cell phone. It's from Ashlyn, who's in the house with me. And I answer it, and she says, hey, I need your help. And I knew right then and there, something is wrong. And I had this feeling inside of me like, what am I gonna find when I open her door? I just didn't know. So I run upstairs and I open the door, and you see your daughter sitting there bleeding profusely, crying. And at that moment in time, the first thing that came to my head was, I'm going to lose my child. like right here in front of me. And, you know, I looked at her and, you know, I'm trying to replay it in my head right now because it kind of blanked out. And it's pretty graphic. She's just sitting there, she's bleeding from her throat, and she's just, you know, crying for help. And I knew. And, you know, I patched her up as best I could, and, you know, and just taking her to the hospital. That's the best way I could describe it. I could get more graphic than that, but I think
it was all right where you were.
It's so disturbing. And to that, you know, you asked my wife a question earlier in the segment, like if you could describe in one word, you know, how you feel and how all this made me feel.
Yes, sir.
I have two words.
Mm-hmm.
One is helplessness, and the other one is failure. So to elaborate on that, the helplessness is, you know, to see your child in a state of sadness to where you can't get her motivated. You know, nothing gets her motivated. So that's how I felt, was helplessness. And then the second one was failure, which I said earlier, because it was my one job to protect your child, and you feel like you just couldn't do that. You know, it's not her fault. It's just, you know, that's just how I felt.
Yes, sir.
So those are the two words that describe this whole thing.
Is there anything else you would like to add on the situation?
Yes.
To lighten it to?
Okay. First of all, I just want to tell Ashlyn how proud I am of you. I am. Yeah. You've come such a long way. I know this looks cheesy and all, but I am.
Yeah.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I can't say that enough.
Thank you.
You know, you make me mad every day because you're just so unmotivated sometimes, and you're a 17-year-old kid. But you know, I'm just happy that you're here,
Yeah.
and we're working together, and I'm just happy. I couldn't be more proud of you. No, I just want to thank everyone here for setting this up. You know, Mr. Rayburn, Lonnie Carls, and you know, this whole crew. I just want to say thank you for letting Ashlyn and my family share the story with you guys, and I hope it touches at least one. If it touches one person and it helps somebody, then I think we've accomplished what we wanted to do.
Thank you for watching. If anyone you know or you are having troubles or suffering at home, you don't have to go through it alone. Please call the Suicide Prevention Hotline, 800-273-8255.